I think that's a little bit better. I mean, I like more natural light, but what can you do? Maybe that help out a little bit. We could do autumn. All right. That was pretty great. Okay, well, speaking to the mic, right? Well, there's obviously voter suppression happening in Texas. And that's a done deal. It happened in the courts. Um, the battle is pretty much already decided. So those resources need to be shifted to making sure the vote that has been cast and will be cast will be, valid. So that money, those people, put a resource shifted to that. So in-person voting, again, for provisional ballots, people who already voted. Hopefully they can make that experience because they already voted by mail. They could go to that one spot, wherever it is, and vote. The only reason why I state that about Texas is it's because it's 1 point up for Biden. So it's realistic. And voter suppression is normally, or the margin of error, or usually 0.5%. There is no real numbers on the 2016, or I haven't seen it, I haven't read it, because that information has obviously been obfuscated by the Trump campaign. So there's probably a great deal more of voter suppression than the 0.5%, or even less than 0.5%. But we can conservatively state that it's not going to be more than 2% of the vote. But that being said, you want to be comfortable. 2% of the vote is realistic to actually get from now to the end of election. I mean, to election, up until election. So it is in the realms of possibility. And plus, on top of that, and not only do you increase the difference of the vote, or increasing the turnout, and I guess you could go after Trump voters, whatever, but honestly, the better play is getting a bigger turnout. Some of that, I would say, is for people to go who already voted, whatever, and to go down there and vote again. But you want to attack it from all angles. You want to do that. But I think the biggest play is getting more voters just to simply turn out um, in person. And how do you do that? I think there's a couple of different ways. The tried and tested ways, obviously. But I wouldn't be here if I just simply do that. I think you could basically shift resources from California, the Latino resources from there, automatically to stop what they're doing, go to Texas and everything. I'm talking about turn up that vote, Black and Latino, just because California is going to be blue. Texas is like a huge win. I mean, the implications for it to turn blue, period, is, phenomenal. It's monumental. I mean, it's going to turn blue eventually. Everybody predicted 10, 20 years from now, but it could be as early as now. I mean, Trump fulfilled a self-fulfilling prophecy of what his campaign was trying to get, to stop, Black and Latino political voice to be more readily heard into the federal government and state government as a whole. And I'm not going to get in that argument about state basically being a political arm indirectly the federal government historically forcing, the will of predominantly were started off as white men, and then that has been still inside of our everything that our country is. We still have those remnants and outright systemic racism, but I'm not going to get in that argument. The argument is getting Texas, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent. So, California, whatever you have, it needs this to be shifted over to Texas. I mean, up and now, up until election, I mean, ongoing, this the whole voting season, just keep turning out that vote. It's possible, man. It is entirely possible. Um, I mean, I think people more on the ground probably can make better decisions than to see the problem as it develops. Whereas these shifting, moving masses of voting uh, entities within the state, but I think many contingents is possible. I mean, not just California. You get the streamers, in Austin, get that to turn out the vote or whatever. The native vote in the Navajo, Hopi, Zuni, Apache, Comanche vote of Arizona, Texas. I mean, of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Texas. Big Native American population. If you know New Mexico and Arizona is going to be red and on the reservation it's going to be blue, all those resources on the reservation, even if you don't have the money to time and energy, text, call up, other reservations and have them turn out, over in Texas. There's decent native population in Texas, Latino population, black, population. So there's corporate people, like it could be done. I'm talking about you hit it from a number of things, like just a few percentages, few parts of a percentage here, there will equal 2%. Because what you're trying to do is get enough votes that will overcome voter suppression. And that's the goal. It's already 1%. And we'll say that already been suppressed. It's a done deal. Now what you're trying to do is get the margin of error and further suppression and mitigate suppression that already happened. Every little bit counts. Texas can be one. It is nuts that we're thinking about that as a possibility in this election. It will completely make it impossible for Trump to take the presidency. And it would alter the political party landscape for a century, if not more. Well, probably definitely. It would make Republicans actually be a real party because it would force them to actually, now since Texas is gone, it would fall along those historical lines of doves and hawks and uh, physical conservatives and more of social program oriented Democrats, uh, which is funny when grows the economy more efficiently. The other, but anyways, my point being is that the lines fall now to gain voters. It will be actually a good thing because now they got to really reinvent the Democratic system. I mean, Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and so drastic changes will happen. I mean, our country will be significantly, there'll be a paradigm shift in our government, not just in Texas. And it will shift, obviously, towards a blue and more, more democratic leaning policies, whatever. But, anyways, that's another story. All I'm saying is that it's definitely in the realms of reality. It's not just like, okay, well, what's that? I'm talking about it'll gain views or whatever. It gain ad revenue if you say it on the news, but I saw a few things and I was just like, okay, whatever. But then I started really to like do a little bit of a deeper dive. And before I really went to a deep dive, and I have, and that's why I want people on the ground there to really push that, word of mouth, getting out the vote, not just online or whatever. Who knows and they could adjust immediately because there's so little time left to the situation that's developing over there with, voter suppression and getting out the vote and to really make that last surge. But it is, there's enough things happening in Texas that I could see I won't surprise if it turns blue at all. Like enough people from the cities, Houston, Dallas, Austin, I definitely like it's fucking crazy. And it just needs a little bit more of a push. Someone on there, light a fire, the last little uh, what I'm saying, pull, push, whatever needs to be done. It could be enough. I'm telling you, man, 2% of the vote. It's possible. It's crazy. And that would just, there's no way you could argue out of that. You know what I'm saying? Then you get some of the other battleground states, because what you're doing is you're trying to make it so when the vote is all said and done, there'll be enough battleground states and electoral college that Trump can't even bring it to Supreme Court. That's what you're trying to do. So if like, Hawaii is always going to be blue, it's done. Why? But you can't really get people from Hawaii to Texas. You know what I mean? It's just like Jersey could go to Pennsylvania. Saying New York could get a Pennsylvania. You know what I'm talking about? And do what I'm saying? It's just a little hop, skip, and a jump or whatever. I mean, so you can't really have Hawaii, but honestly, there's this. It's so obvious. So many resources in Cali. Why waste it? I'm talking about. You have the ability, got the time, put that thought and energy, put your time, put your effort, Texas, get out the vote. Literally you're fighting a few parts of percentage. It could be done. All right, I'm out. That's my thoughts. Like I said, I'm talking about thinking a little bit more out of the box, whatever. I have some other what I'm saying, what are you trying to do at the polling stations when you show up? Trying to make a comfort zone, people to feel at ease and at peace at voting. To the people that support Trump or whatever, you're trying to lessen the opportunity and the will for them to actually find where they could suppress the vote. And even just like as a show of force, show of presence, really, whatever, be like, look, there's enough people, here they're going to make the vote legal and just for them not to pull some bullshit Nazi um, tactics. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying? You don't need to do all these legal fucking. We need to do this or that. Show up. Like, hey, how you doing, Trump supporters? Monitoring thing. We're over here too. So you don't need to have all this like uh, super aggressive thing. Just be there and be like, hey, we're over here too trying to ensure the vote. We trying to do it too. Well, we're all good. You know what I'm saying? No big deal. You know what I'm saying? And be nice if we outnumber them, but it is what it is. Just show up, be there, counter it. You don't need much, nothing. Um, just as the thing, you see something, step in immediately, and counter it then there or whatever. But by and large, it would just be like, just show of presence and be like, okay, we don't want lessening the opportunity to do illegal shit. All right, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but it's possible. It's real. I'll probably read more into it. I want to cross-reference a bunch of things and maybe, but it's the time to do that. Losing time to get people out, pushing the vote out or whatever. All right, this light's killing me. Turning that off. All right. Well, actually, this looks even better. I should have kept it like this. But anyways, peace. I got a pizza coming, and I got to study and shit. All right. Good luck, Texas. Stay Haas.